Hi, I'm Maggie Bowman, and this is Arts Alive. I'm here today to welcome Peter Leighton, one of our newest artists for the Art Harvest Studio Tour, our 30th Art Harvest Studio Tour. And he is a fused glass artist, and welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Maggie. It's good to be with you.
Well, you're new to the tour, and I'm sure you're excited. I'm sure you've been working madly the last couple of months to be ready for the tour. Tell me a little bit about your fused glass process.
Well, fused glass is really a difficult medium to work with because it's not one-dimensional. So I'm dealing with heat, I'm dealing with different chemical compounds, and so I never know what I'm going to get out of it, but it's always interesting. I work with glass in frit pieces or broken glass. I create a design, put it into the kiln, and we'll see what we get.
So do you ever use a torch on your glass or just the kiln?
I use just the kiln. There are some fused glass artists that actually do some torch work as well.
So are you ever surprised at what comes out of the kiln?
Sometimes I am, and sometimes it's a great surprise, and sometimes it's let's break it up and start over.
Okay. Tell me how you got interested in fused glass. How old were you when you first?
I spent my career in business, and at some point I wanted to express myself creatively. So I had someone close to me who was a stained glass artist, and I would help out in her studio, and she had a kiln, and I started playing around and really fell in love with the process. And then I saw a documentary called Holy Frit with a guy named Tim Carey.
Okay.
And it really inspired me, and I wound up taking a class from him and been doing it since.
Did you ever know in high school you were going to do something like this?
I've always had that kind of creativity in me, but you know, I had a career path, raised kids. Once they became adults, then it became time to be able to say, okay, what do I want to do to express my creativity? And so I don't have any formal training as an artist, but it's been a real passion for me.
That's exciting, and I like the way the light comes through it. It's different at every angle. Tell me about your studio.
Well, so I have a barn on my property, and on the top of the barn I converted it into a studio. I have a kiln, I have a lot of different glass, and so what I've been trying to do is over the past few years kind of figure out what styles work for me and what expresses, you know, my creative interest, and kind of working through the process, figuring out what kind of glass work I can do, how long it goes in the kiln, what am I, you know, determine the expectations for what's going to come out, because as I said, sometimes you never know.
There are lots of variables in the final product.
Yeah, but one of the things I do love about glass is the fact that it works in exterior, interior, and there's so much you can do with it, and you're really dependent upon the environment to give it life.
Right, and it's all about the light.
It is about the light.
How the light comes through.
Yeah.
I love the butterfly piece you have. As a matter of fact, that's your piece right there, letting everybody know that you are one of the new artists on the tour. And that is October 4, 5, 6, and 11, 12, 13. It's a 6-day event. Are you ready?
I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I've done an open studio, so I don't know exactly what to expect, but having toured on the Art Harvest Studio Tour in the past, it's been fantastic, and I've enjoyed it as a viewer. Now, as an artist, it's a whole new ball game, but I'm looking forward to it.
So would you explain to people where your studio is?
So I'm in Dundee Hill, so I'm set within the vineyards. Some big wine labels are right down the street from me, but I'm kind of tucked away. So hopefully people will come up from downtown Dundee and come to my property and see my studio.
That's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for you. You'll have some good stories afterwards. What's the biggest piece you've ever made?
Well, I'm somewhat limited by the size of my kiln, so the biggest pieces are about 28 inches long by about 14 inches wide. But I'm also doing some things. I'm experimenting with creating light boxes and putting it into light fixtures and kind of creating more architectural pieces as well as simple artwork.
So kind of a lamp with a light, just surrounding a light and letting it show through?
Yep, and I actually, at an antique sale, found an old tin that has a panel that was removed. And so I put glass in there and I lit it from inside, and it's those types of things, great experiments, and they're really working out well, and I'm enjoying it.
I can imagine something like this with a candle
Right.
on a patio dinner, watching the sunset, sipping wine.
And that's exactly what I do up on Dundee Hills. But I've also created some pieces. I create some necklaces and
Okay.
fused glass jewelry pieces for people who are not, wanting to spend money on artwork, but want a little piece of something that they can wear and have.
Right, so they can create their own piece out of yours, kind of a collaboration.
Exactly, yeah. And I do some commission work as well. So if someone wants a particular style, sometimes people will see some of the pieces I have and say, well, I love that type of imagery, but could you do it in this type of colors or in this style?
So you're willing to take custom work?
I
Custom
do it,
pieces?
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what people who come through on the tour are interested in and what they're looking for, and hopefully I have enough pieces there for everybody.
Well, the first year is always interesting. You're doing a little bit of research, what works, what doesn't work, but I think people will love to see the process.
Yeah, and that's what's always fascinated me about the Art Harvest Studio Tour, is being able to see not only artwork from the artist and different mediums, but how they do it and their work. And so I'm hoping to have some pieces on the table at various stages so everybody can see kind of what goes into it before it goes into the kiln.
Right. Oh, my phone. Keep going. Okay. Have you ever taught people how to do fused glass?
I have. I haven't done any formal classes, but with friends and family, whenever they come and visit, we go up in the studio and I create little projects. And I'm surprised that people really get into it and they're excited about doing glass work.
Oh, that's exciting. Where do you find your materials?
Luckily, Portland is home to one of the largest art glass producers called Bullseye Glass Company. So it's pretty easy to source the materials, and they have both sheet glass and they have what's called frit, which is little broken pieces of glass.
Oh.
So I can, create different styles and different looks within the glass.
Do you ever see a beautiful colored glass bottle and think to yourself, oh, I just want to break that and use it in my artwork?
Yes, and the beauty of my work is that I can recycle everything. So if I have a piece that didn't turn out right, I can smack it up into little pieces and reuse it. So it's pretty efficient.
That's wonderful. What's the favorite piece you've ever made that you will never part with?
Well, I try not to hold attachment to it. I try and want to share that with people. But my favorite piece is actually a commission piece that I did for a family member that just hit home. It was kind of exactly what they wanted. It was a great expression, and but every day is a new day. There's always new pieces that I'm doing that really kind of allow me to try new things or express myself in a different way.
Do you stick with realism? So there's a butterfly, I've seen you do faces, or do you sometimes just go wild and do some abstract thing?
Yes. Yes. So that's the beauty, is that I've really tried to kind of experiment with different styles. I've actually tried to do pieces that are like an homage to certain art styles. Not that I've gotten into cubism per se, but the difficulty in making something very realistic is that it's glass. It's not going to come out realistic. Mm-hmm. So if I have my eye on something definitive and photorealistic, I'm always going to be disappointed. But what I have found is that I can come up with styles that really work and do give expression in a realistic manner.
Mm-hmm. What do you know historically about fused glass? Do you go back into the ancient Roman times? research it?
I have not really delved into the history of fused glass, but I, little by little, find it very fascinating, the different aspects of glassworks, whether it's fused, whether it's stained, or whether it's blown glass.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to any of the European cathedrals with the stained glass?
I have, and I've been to Venice and seen the Moreno work that they do, which is fantastic.
What is that style?
Oh, well, they have these intricate styles that are fused together to create designs, and it's been around for thousands of years, and it's fantastic work. And that's what they're known for.
It makes you wonder who came up with this.
Well,
and where glass came from.
Glass has been around for a long time.
The history of it. And
there's another artist that I think has kind of inspired me, and that's Chihuly. A lot of people have heard of Chihuly glass. It's a very different style. It's blown, but it is just an absolutely amazing way of being expressive with a medium like glass. Right. So that's always very stimulating for me to kind of see that and wonder, can I leverage some of that into my work?
I've seen his procedure and his process, and they do a lot of teaching around Chihuly's work. And have you ever made something that's not flat, that's more?
Yep. So I'm experimenting with that now, and there's a process called slumping where you'll put a flat piece in the kiln on a mold, and it melts around it, so you can create somewhat different shapes. And I'm trying to kind of play around with that, mostly to create light fixtures or things like that. But in my mind, I'd love to see a 3D piece that can be put out in a backyard or in a garden space that can be put together with various pieces of glass. That's my next work that I'm going to play with.
Wow. It'd be fun to have pieces on your property that you see in the sunlight and the sunrise, and then over here in the sunset. Have you?
Or have them lit from within with LED lights.
Or a torch or something.
Yeah.
Can your pieces go outside? Do people have?
They can. Most of the pieces that I'm doing now, particularly, the portraiture type stuff, I mount on generally a wood piece because it just mounts pretty well. Mm-hmm. But there's other ways to mount and display the work. It can be hung. I could drill holes and put in stainless steel clips. So there's a lot of ways to do that. And that's part of the process too, is trying to figure out what works for any individual. So if somebody wanted a customized piece, I could kind of design for that.
Wow.
There's one other thing too. Yeah. Some people have kitchen cabinets that have glass in it.
Oh.
So theoretically, I could customize a design for someone's kitchen. I haven't done that yet, but I'm thinking about doing that for my own kitchen at some point.
Do it for yourself and work out the bugs.
That's the way to do it.
I see your glass maybe in a beautiful front door with a beautiful, or little pieces down the sides.
Yeah. Well, to me, as an artist or someone who wants to express himself creatively, that's where the joy is, in being able to kind of provide that to someone so people can live with it every day, see it, have it inspire them, and that is what brings me a lot of joy.
Do you have a favorite color of the glass? Because I'm looking at this beautiful butterfly and my eyes just keep bouncing around.
I tend to like a lot of the blues, because there's just such a wide variety to work with.
That's great. Well, what else do you have what do you think the tour will be like for you?
I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting. I think I'm one of the only fused glass artists, so I'm hoping that people will come, explore it, see if it's something that really resonates with them. I'm just looking forward to getting a lot of feedback from people, and hopefully I can share my work with people and have them enjoy it for years.
I think that's going to be exciting because this is something that will last forever. These aren't just beautiful pieces of artwork, they're heirlooms.
I hope so. Or if you don't like them, they can easily be broken and reused.
Not on purpose.
Right. Well, let's hope not.
Well, thank you, folks. I hope you've enjoyed our our chat with Peter. I hope you can visit him on October 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, and 13. These catalogs are available, all the information's available on our website, Art Harvest Studio Tour of Yamhill, Oregon. So thank you so much, and we'll see you later.